Have you ever just been flipping through on your app and trying to find a TV show or a movie, maybe just to fall asleep? Well, I do that every night, and I came across a movie. It was called Dare to Dream on Netflix. I started watching it. It has Katie Holmes and, oh my gosh, the guy from um, Home Sweet Alabama. I can't remember his name, but the movie started and it talks about a mom and a single mom and her kids. She's actually a widow, and it goes through how she perceives life. And she comes across a stranger, and they start having this interaction. And the things that he teaches her is just about opening up the possibilities. And so after I watched this, I realized I had seen a movie very similar to this years ago. One of my best friends had turned it on, and at the time, it was not the right time for me to watch it. It was called The Secret. And now this is currently playing on Prime. I watched it last night. I even watched it again today. I wanted to go over because I feel like more people need to know there are things in this world, this thing like in your life, that is always going to feel daunting. And it talks about in The Secret about the laws of attraction. Now, the laws of attraction, here's the secret, is the answer to all that has been, all that is, and all that will be. That's the secret, is that you can manifest anything in your life. Now I'm going to kind of break it down on what I watched. Now this is about a 2 hour long video that I watched, and I'm going to break it down shorter just to kind of give you the highlights. Now I would suggest that you go and watch it. Again, it's called The Secret. It has like a um, the wax seal that you put, and it says The Secret in it, and it's a really great movie. And it's not going to hit everybody the same because we're all in different aspects of our life. But it hit me again when I watched the Dare to Dream and I rewatched The Secret. And it just breaks down on the the outlook that you have on your life is what you have brought to your life. So the laws of attraction, you got to think of it more of like a magnet. So what we want is what is going to come to us. Now, there's so many different ways to put this in different aspects of our life. You can talk about like money, you can talk about jobs, you can talk about significant others, you can talk about your children. There's so many things that you can focus on, and that is what you're going to get. I wrote down some notes. So if you see me looking down, I wrote down some notes to make sure I kind of cover all the bases on this. So when you think about yourself as a magnet, it's kind of like what you put out there is always what's going to come to you. So when you start thinking about positive things, if you start thinking about the things that you want, that is what's going to be brought back to you. Now, some people are going to say, well, I always say that I want this and I want that, or I've been trying to do this, and maybe they haven't figured out the right way to do it. Now, I talk a lot about the things that you can or you can't do. When you talk about that and you put them out in the universe, that is what happens. If you can't do it, then you're right. You are absolutely correct. You can't do it. But if you start to change the way that you think, the way that you are, and the way that you talk to other people, we can relate this to the Scentsy business, and I will do that here shortly. But when you put things out there, those things can come true. Now, it doesn't always work on how, or maybe I should say, is that sometimes it's about how we say it or what we're wanting to put into our world or what we're wanting to bring to us. Because your thoughts become things. So if you're like, oh my gosh, I just want to make a lot of money. I just want to make a lot of money. Well, what you may think a lot of money is could be an extra $100. That could be a lot of money. And all of a sudden you have an extra $100, but you're like, I didn't have a lot of money, but you didn't specify what that is. So when let's go back, let's kind of rewind a little bit. When we talk or think about things that we want, sometimes when you wake up in the morning and the day just seems to go bad to worse to horrible, and it's all by something that happened. You could wake up in the morning and you stub your toe, and the whole day just seems to start to fall apart. Maybe you go to open your toothpaste and there's none left, or there's a little bit and you squeeze it and then it splatters everywhere. It gets on your outfit or it gets on your clothes. It just makes a big mess. And then you're like, oh, like, of course, this is just how my day is going to go. And then you go to get ready and you go to grab your bag and your strap breaks. And then it's like everything sucks all the time. I just want to get through this day. And then you get out to the car and your battery is dead. And then you finally get either get a ride or you get your car jumped and you get in your car and you're just like, I'm going to be late. Why am I always late? I just feel like I'm always late. And you're sitting there putting this energy out and it's what's going to come back. And your day started off what could have just been a little stub of the toe. Now I know it hurts, but it doesn't have to affect your whole day. It doesn't have to be your day is that you stubbed your toe. That could have just been a little asterisk, a little part of your day, but it didn't change it. But if you allow it to change your entire mindset, that day, it goes back to that saying that, I just wish I could start this whole day over. I just need to be able to start this whole day over. Well, at any point in time, you can actually start your entire day over. It's all about your mindset of what you put out there. If you woke up in the morning and you stub your toe, you're like, oh, I need to pay more attention. I'm going to pay more attention. I'm like, you're claiming it. Like it's going to be a great day. This is just a little footnote of my day. This is not how my day is going to be. And when you start giving yourself a little bit of gratitude of like, you know what, it could have been worse. It could have been something, drastic, but even then you can always change your outlook. When I started with my Scentsy business in the beginning, when I started, I didn't know what failure in Scentsy would be because I had never done it. So I had this whole mindset of I was going to start this business and I was going to do amazing things and I was going to be the best I could be. And I just had to open up that I was not going to tell myself no. No matter how many times people told me no, didn't mean I was going to stop. I was going to keep going down that path because I knew that there was a way to be successful. And in the very beginning, I had nothing else to do. This was this was supposed to be my saving grace. I needed something to clasp onto, and I started this business, and it actually took off really, really well. And I didn't allow people to stop my momentum. I knew that people were going to say no. I knew people were going to say, I don't want to, or leave me alone. I understood that that could happen. But I also understood that the more people I talked to, that it was going to be people that wanted Scentsy, that were going to want my products, that were going to want to buy from me. And how would that happen? I had to keep going. I had to keep saying that everybody is going to buy from me. Every single person is going to place an order with me. Everybody. And that was my whole mindset. So I used to create, or I didn't used to, I did create a program that was called Go for No's. And it was about trying the hardest to get a no from every single person. And the reason why you do this is it changes your mindset. Because when you think that, oh, I'm going to get this challenge because every single person is going to say no. Every single person I'm going to message is going to say no. And your mind starts changing because you want to make sure you get a solid no. You want to prove that every single person is not going to buy. So you start changing your words. You're not just saying want to buy blacks, because they may actually say yes. So then you word it and you're like, I'm going to try the harder things. I'm going to try to get the really good solid no that they don't want me to message them. They don't want Scentsy ever, and they're never going to buy from me. I'm going to get that. And as you notice that when you start sending out messages or you start talking to different people, your friends, your family, your customers, maybe just on social media, period, that not everybody's going to say no. And if you start to listen to what they say, and maybe how they're saying it. Now, I know that's hard in a text message, but you can kind of get what I'm saying, is that it's not always no. It's just not right now. It may be that they had to wait for their next paycheck. Maybe they get paid once a month. Maybe get paid every 2 weeks, and maybe it's coming up on Friday. Those are openings to be able to get more sales. So the laws of attraction is you tell yourself and you look yourself in the mirror and you say, I'm going to be the best consultant that I can be. I'm going to be the best person that I can be. Money is going to be plentiful. Orders are going to be plentiful. And I'm just going to have the biggest team ever. And you start telling yourself that over and over. The laws of attraction means that what you put out there is what you're going to get. Now, you can break this down and say, yeah, but I've always said I wanted to get out of debt. I wanted to get out of debt. Well, when you're constantly thinking about debt, you're going to get it, no matter if you're getting in or getting out of it. So it's not about focusing on the negative parts of your life. It's focusing on what is positive, like having gratitude for the things you do have. And no matter how, like where you're at in your life, of like how old you are, or if you started your family, or you're wanting to start a family, or your kids are older like me. I mean, my kids are older. My youngest is 18. So I'm at this stage that I don't have littles to look after. I don't have to run after and pick up from daycare and take to daycare and do homework. My youngest is a senior in high school. So right now she's living her best life. She is getting to do different things. I know that a lot of the hardships that I had in my life they've already passed. Like the hardships that I've went through, the things in my life that came across that I look back and I'm like, God, that was such a horrible moment. And I made it through. And that's past. Like I can't change it. I can accept it and I can learn from it and I can move forward. Do I want to be in those situations again? No. But I now have the knowledge to know that I'm not going to be back in that situation again. That's not what I want. I'm going to reference this. I'm going to move my notes because I think I'm doing all right without them. I'm going to reference this with, I wanted to stop just dating. I wanted to get into a serious relationship where marriage was on the table. Now, I didn't really believe in marriage at the time because I'd seen a lot of my friends get married and get divorced and get married and get divorced. I saw a lot of the people that I knew, just acquaintances or coworkers, and go through the same thing. And I was like, if I ever get married, I'm getting married once and that's it. Like, I will not get married again. We will be together and it will be hard and it will be work. And I'm willing to put that work in there. And I changed my mindset that I just didn't want to like have fun anymore and just kind of go out. I had told myself that I wanted to be in a committed relationship where marriage was on the table. Like that was something that was going to happen in the future. And when I changed that mindset, there was a lot of things that happened in the universe. God had brought me back somebody in my life that I had knew growing up. Somebody that I knew their family, I knew their background, I knew all the things that they had gone through. And when my husband and I first started dating, the one thing that I had talked about was that I wanted communication. I wanted to have that community. I wanted that in a relationship. I wanted to be able to talk about the good and the bad and the fun and the scary. I wanted to be comfortable enough to be able to bare my soul to somebody else and know that it's going to be safe. We had that agreement in the beginning. We dated for a year, we got engaged, and it took us another year before we got married because of different circumstances. We were basically looking for a place to live because I didn't want to get married and go back to my parents' house. And at the time, he was living with his sister, so we didn't want him to have to get married and then go live with his sister. So we changed the situation. We changed the things that were going on in our lives, and we made things happen. We were able to find a place, and it just felt like everything started to fall into place. And looking back, I realized that I had put that out there. Like I had talked about, like, we are going to find a place. We started looking. We looked at trying to buy a house. We looked at trying to just get an apartment. Then I was like, but I want to be somewhere where it's not busy. I don't want to be like in downtown Fort Worth. I don't want to be in a place that's overly crowded. I also didn't want to be as far south as I was living. I was living in Burleson and Mansfield, and my husband and I found a place here in Kennedale. And everything just kind of worked out. Like the pieces just seemed to fall into place. And then as we moved in and we got everything started to get settled, it was, well, how are we going to get married? I don't want to spend a lot of money on the marriage. I don't want to I didn't want to have to pay for a lot of stuff because I was worried about the money. So I started looking for different ways to get married that wasn't going to cost us an arm and a leg. So I looked at the local park and I was able to make the reservation. And we reserved a pavilion basically because we needed it for the electricity. And we went out there and we looked at the place and we decided where we were going to get married. And then we're like, okay, well, we got to find someone to marry us. I think it needs to be a minister. We started looking into it, and anybody can get ordained online. So my best friend got ordained online just to be able to marry us. So we didn't have to worry about paying for her. We put the deposit down that most of it was going to be turned back as long as the place was cleaned up for the park. Everything just fell into place. And we found the reception hall, which was the local bar that we went to. We frequented all the time, and we didn't have to pay for it. We talked to him about setting up for the wedding and use it, and we even got the DJ. Like everything kind of fell into place. And the whole thing about the story is that there were things that we chose, we wanted to do, and we were able to find them. And the laws of attraction are basically is putting things into place that you want and then being able to go after them. Now, you talk about like, I want to get out of debt and I want, I want more freedom. I want to be able to do this. And the whole part about the debt is that that's a negative thing that you're trying to get away from. But still talking about the debt is still going to have the debt there. So if money is the thing that you are most worried about, and the things that you want to change, think about it in relate of like, how are you going to do it? Do you want to find a business? Maybe you're not a Scentsy consultant currently, and maybe it's something else and you've come across this video. Maybe it's more like you want an extra income. You want to make more money, or maybe you want to figure out from your current job, like I want more responsibility so I can make more income for my family. You kind of need to put in a process, like, what do you want? If you hate your job, then the goal that you need to put out there is that you want to be better at what you do. You want to be able to find a job that is going to cultivate what you're wanting. Like if you're wanting more money, wanting better hours, maybe you're wanting more flexibility, you put that out there. I was in the corporate world for 7 years. And in 2019, I made the choice to step away from the corporate world and I wanted to work for myself. That was one thing I always wanted to do. I wanted to have some kind of business. Now, I didn't know what it was going to be. And I knew whatever step I was going to take, I was going to have to work at it. I decided to become a process server. You make your own hours, you work and get paid for whatever you work. So if you want to work every single day of the week, you get paid for every single day, every single time you do your job. And that was awesome for me because I felt like I felt like it would show me that I could do more than what I currently was doing. I mean, being in the corporate world for 7 years, and in 7 years of all the raises and everything else, only making, $6 more an hour in 7 years. So I never even got a full dollar for every year I worked there. It was a slow progression. I didn't even make $6 more from the time I started, from the time that I left there. I decided I wanted to be a process server. So I took the classes online. I passed it. I succeeded. I then found a job. The minute I found a job, I quit my other job. Now there's other things going on. And at the time I was pursuing a singing career because I wanted to do some recordings. I wanted to do more things, but I knew I need to have a job, some kind of money coming in, something that I knew that I could make better, or if I decided to take off, I knew that I wouldn't get paid if I didn't do my job. Process serving was great until 2020. And when they shut down the courts, then I was no longer able to do that. Scentsy kind of fell into my lap. I was cleaning out the garage and I came across some Scentsy warmers that I've had for a long time. I even came across some wax that had survived Texas summers in a garage at my parents' house, and then here whenever we had moved here, because we had been here for at least 2 years before I even started with my Scentsy business. Now, I had reached out, I just posted on Facebook about like, I need to find a Scentsy consultant. And that process just started going. But again, all this boils down to is that when I started, I didn't know failure was a thing. I really didn't. And the laws of attraction talk about, you know, if you have no fear of what's going, like the worst part of what's going on, then you can succeed. You can move forward in the direction you want, no matter what your current circumstances are. You currently could be in a horrible relationship in a horrible house. Everything just feels like it's always falling apart. But when you take that time and you stop and you realize, like, what do you want? Don't talk about what you don't want. Talk about what you do want. If you want to be able to put your kids in a better school, if you want to be able to have a house with enough rooms, if you want to be able to have um, a car, like your favorite, like you want to get this car, then start putting that energy towards your goals of what you want. Now, there's a lot of different things that you know, with your business, if it's Scentsy or not, that you can relate this to your business. So for me, we're in the Scentsy world. The things that I put out is that I had wanted to start putting like warmers into local businesses. I wanted to be able to start reaching out outside of my little circle, because at some point you are going to run out of customers if you're only talking to your friends and family. Oh, my nose is running. Um, excuse me. um, but I wanted to start reaching out, and it took me some time because I had been working from home. I had been working my business from home, and getting back out around people really scared me, but I knew I needed to do that. And so I started to put things into place, and I started messaging different people. I started commenting. I started posting different places that I wanted to be able to put warmers out in people's businesses. And it slowly happened. I started to go with my husband to his chiropractor at the joint off of Sublet. And I was talking to them, and they're like, we would love to have a warmer up here. And I was like, what? I was like, I knew I wanted to do this, but I didn't know how. Like, do you just walk up to people? I mean, you watch all these different videos of how people are outreaching, and you just never know. And sometimes it just happens by chance. And I put a warmer up there, and you know, I gave them some wax and some cotton cleanups, and then you go back and check on them. And there's things that you can start doing in your life and in your business that you can kind of you can control. Now, one thing to also think about is um, your thoughts cause your feelings. Your thoughts. So the things that you think about, the things that go around in your head. And the one part about The Secret is it talks about is that, you know, we can't control others on how others do their lives. No matter if it's our spouse, our significant other, or our children, our parents, our siblings, we can't control them, but we can control ourselves. The biggest part about The Secret is working on yourself, is to start realizing and acknowledge the things that have happened to you that may be the part that is you're carrying around. Maybe there's a lot of baggage that you're carrying. Maybe there's a lot of resentment or hate or sorrow that you carry with you. The part that it talks about in The Secret is kind of acknowledging that and then moving forward, using that energy to better yourself. Maybe it is taking some classes. Maybe it's starting to learn about confidence or starting to build your confidence. It's kind of like starting small. You know, tell yourself every single day in the mirror that you are amazing. You are important. You're beautiful. You're smart. You're inventive. I mean, whatever you feel like you need to say. And when you start telling yourself this every single day, things will start to change. The little voice in our head is not our biggest fan, but we can change the voice in our head. If you started your day every day, you got up and just was grateful. Grateful you woke up, grateful that you are where you're at. Maybe it's in your bed, or that you have clothes, or that you have food in the house, or that, everybody is healthy. Things are going great. And being grateful for the small things. I was able to take a breath today. I took a breath. I woke up. God woke me up. I took a breath, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for my husband, because he is amazing. He supports me in all the crazy things that I do, all these crazy ideas that I have coming up for my business, or I'm going back to school. I never wanted to go back to school, but I realized that I needed something more. I love to learn. I love to get knowledge. So I'm going back to school. I figured it out. I figured out how to get the financial aid. I figured out what I need to do. And I know that this is going to better my life. And I know that this is going to be where I need to be. Everything just kind of fell into place. It took a little bit of work, but I didn't mind doing it. I had to go up to the school, and I had to go through and make sure I got my classes, and I asked the questions. I made sure that I understood what I needed to do. I understood where I needed to go, or who I needed to contact, or what I needed to wait on. And I took that action. So when you start to say that, I want $1 million just delivered to my house, and you just start saying that, I want $1 million delivered to my house, $1 million delivered to my house. I want, if that's what you think would make you happy, and that's what you focus on, it will come. I don't really want $1 million. It's never been about being a millionaire or a billionaire. That's just not the way that I work. I know that the things that I talk about and that I tell myself every day, when I get up, and then when I go to sleep, I have a whole little mantra that I say. But I know that what I want out of my life is I want us to be happy. I want my family to be happy. I want to not worry. Actually, let me word this a different way. I want to be able to pay all my bills without having to look at my bank account. I want to be able to pay a bill or anything that comes up. I want to be able to pay it without having to look to see if I have enough. I want to look and know that money is always going to be there, and it's going to be, I'm going to be able to provide for my family. That's what I've always wanted. That, and here lately, it seems to be doing that. Like, I just stopped worrying about the small stuff. I stopped worrying about like the bills coming in. I just know, you know what? I'm in a good spot, and I'm going to be able to pay my bills as they come in. With my business, I've been able to look at, like, I want more customers. I want more customers, but could I handle 1,000 customers all at once? No. It's kind of like being in a retail store and you open up and 1,000 people walk in. That would not be something that I could do by myself. So I changed my mindset of like, I want to be able to train. I want to be able to reach more people. I want to be able to help as many people as I can. And even if I benefit from it or not, like I'm all about just sharing my journey, or sharing the things that I've learned, and like I'm sharing this with you now. This is what I want. This is the happiest that I feel is when I'm sharing, when I'm helping others. And so I don't look at it as like, I want 1,000 customers. I want this or that. I realize that I know what our bills are currently, and I know how much money I want to make every month. And that's what I look for, is like, I talk about how much money I want to come into my bank account every single month. I talk about how many consultants I want in my downline. I talk about how many customers I want to be able to provide for. And I want to be able to get people onto an automated system like Scentsy Club. So I talk about how many Scentsy Clubs I want running through my account. Now, I'm not saying I want them every month. I'm not saying but this is how many. This is what I look at. I talk about how much PRV. This is what I'm telling myself every day, how much PRV that I want monthly, and how many new teamies that I want to partner with every single month. This is the mantra, and I've been doing this now for about a year, and it is slowly coming to, it's slowly getting there. maybe it's what I should say. It's slowly getting there. I've gotten in my way many, many times. I've doubted myself many, many times. And I stop and I'm just like, I can't do this. I'm like, I'm not reaching anybody. I'm not talking to anybody. And I'm not making any sales. I'm not doing this. And whenever I stop and tell myself, like, I can do this. There is nothing that I'm doing in Scentsy that is hard. There's nothing in Scentsy. To run a business is not hard. It's all about what you focus on. It's all about what you want from it. And that's kind of how The Secret talks about, is that it's the things that you focus on will come true. So if you're constantly focused that you're never going to get sales, you are correct. You will never get a sale. You'll never talk to enough people. You'll never talk to the right people. And that kind of goes through is like when you are in an area that you are constantly surrounded by people who are negative, like people who are not successful, people who hate their jobs, hate their lives, hate their cars, hate everything. When you surround yourself with them, then those are the type of people that you're going to start to absorb their negativity. And that's where you have to start breaking the cycle. You work on yourself. You need to be the positive light around everybody. You need to be the positive light for yourself. And those people will start to attract to you the people who are positive, people that are doing the things that you want to do. If you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to find a new room. You want to always be moving forward. You want to always be bettering you. You just need to have, like, today's version should be better than yesterday's version of yourself. And then tomorrow's version of myself will be better than today. And the laws of attraction is all about that. And again, I'm kind of summarizing and letting you guys know I don't want to go through all of it, but I am going to hit quite a few. It is, so you'll start looking at your life, and it's going to be hard when you first start realizing what the secret is and you start looking at the laws of attraction. And it's going to be hard to look at because everything that is around you right now is what you brought to yourself. And that's a hard pill to swallow. It's hard to understand that we have put ourselves in a position of where we're miserable. And then misery breeds more misery. And you can stop that cycle. You can stop where you're at and move it towards where you want to be. And it's all like some of the steps. Let me go through some of the steps. So step one in the create process is first you need to ask. So step one is ask. What do you really want? Sit down and write it out. Write down the things that you want and be specific. You don't want to say no bills because that's not going to be logical. You are going to have bills. You are going to have responsibilities that you still have to take care of. But write down in the present tense, like, I am so happy and grateful for, and start writing it down. Asking is always the hardest part. I mean, when you have to ask for help, you have to ask for assistance because maybe you don't know. Maybe you're not sure where you need to go. Asking is one of the hardest things to do. But if you don't ask, then the answer is always going to be no. So writing down what you want, writing down the goals that you want, that is important because you need to know what you're asking for. Step two is believe. You got to believe that first you believe that it can happen. You believe that you're worthy of it and that you can do it. You have to believe. You have to believe in yourself. Believe that you can do what you want to do. You can do what you need to do. That believe that it is obtainable. Believe that it is something that can come true. When you start to have that point, like you could say it and be like, it should have happened instantaneously. Now I'm starting to have doubt about it. I'm starting to not believe it. And then you have the disappointment of it didn't happen. I said I wanted $1 million delivered at my door right this moment. It didn't happen. Now I have doubt. And now I'm disappointed. And now I'm just like, it's never going to happen. That's not really the way of the laws, the laws of attraction work. It is putting it out there that this is what I want. This is where I want to be. This is what I want to drive. This is where I want to live. This is where I will live. This is where I am living. I'm living where I want to be. It's believing that you're worthy of it. It's believing that you can do that. The last one, step 3, is receiving it. Those steps, those things that you've asked for, that you started to believe in, you have to accept that they're coming to you. You have to accept them when they get here. If you are looking for another job, like you are like, I want to better my situation. I want a better job. I want more responsibility. And it comes to you, you have to accept it. It's going to be scary. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. It is scary when the things you ask for come to you. And going back to talking about my husband, it was scary when we actually started dating and getting serious and we've had these conversations. I got scared because I didn't honestly believe that I deserved happiness. I had been told so many times that I was worthless, that I'd never amount to anything. I'd never have anybody better than what I already had, that it was there and gone, and I'm too old. My kids are too old. Like, my kids are still growing up. I mean, there was so many things that I got scared about. And, my husband told me, he's like, we got this. We can do this together. It's okay to be scared, but you just can't stay there. You can't dwell on the scared part. You say it, you accept it, and then you receive it. You move through it. Yes, you can be scared, but you can do anything scared. I mean, getting on a roller coaster, that's scary. You can still get on it and you can still be scared and be like, oh my gosh. And then you have the excitement of what's going on. You got the ups and the downs and the twists and the turns. And that roller coaster ride, yes, you were scared, and you were scared while you were on it, and you're like, oh my God. But the exhilaration, it's kind of how life is. Yes, do it scared. Courage is just like 15 seconds of knowing you can do it. Just do it. Like, just go and do it. You can kind of look at how you'll see that stuff is coming to you. It's like driving down a dark highway, and you have your lights on and you can see about 200 feet in front of you. That's all you can see. It's just a 200 feet in front of you. But you know that this road, this path, is going to somewhere. You know it's there, but you can't see all the way down. You can't see the end. You can't see the goal line. You can't see the destination, but you can see 200 feet in front of you. And you have to trust that you're always going to see the 200 feet in front of you. Once you get there, you realize, oh, I passed that. And then I have 200 feet more to go. I have 200 feet more to go. That's what I can see. This is where I'm going. When I get to this destination, there's now 200 more feet in front of you there. You have to know that there is a path, there is a destination, there is a goal that you're going towards. And you have to know that it's there. You have to know that it's achievable. And you have to trust that you're doing the right thing. You have to trust in yourself that you are going to achieve this. You look. And there's no timeline. There's no timeline of how long this will take. It could take a day, it could take weeks, it could take months, it could take years. But it's not about focusing on the time. It's focusing on your goal. Where do you want to end up? Let's get you there. What do you want to change in your life? What positivity do you want brought to it? Changing in the mindset. Let's think about time. Someone said, or I think my mom even had, or my grandmother had this thing on the outside of the bathroom. A minute depends on what side of the door you're on. When you're in the bathroom and you're trying to hurry, you're like, I'm trying to finish up, or you're trying to finish your business. The person on the outside, it's like the more that they dread that they need to be in there, the longer time takes. Like, when you're in that moment of disparity and you're in that moment of horrid, like everything is going wrong, time stands still. You're just there and you don't know how to get out of it. But when you look at all the good things that happened and how fast it happened, it was like it was gone in a blink of an eye. And we talk about time. Time is of the essence. Like, you have to look at the time that it may take. If you're dreading it, it may take forever. But when you're in that joy, when you're in that excitement, the time may go by really fast. And you look back. I mean, looking back in 3.5 years of being a Scentsy consultant and realizing how far I've come and how many nights that it was like, oh, what am I going to do next? And how am I going to do this? And where am I going to go? And then realizing that I've done the things that I wanted to do. There's more I want to do, but I did the things that I set my mind out to do. And there was times that I doubted myself, times that I took time and pause because I figured I wasn't worthy of it. I didn't deserve it. Like, how is this coming to me when I don't deserve it? And then it's getting back there, and it's realizing where I want to go. So the time, there's no set time. Everything is going to come to you in the right time. You have to feel the gratitude. You have to feel gratitude towards the things that you want and towards the things that you've done and where you're at. Like, you need to be grateful of everything that you have right now. You can just stop. Just be grateful. There's a couple of different ways to start, I guess, visualizing the gratefulness. In The Secret, they talk about the grateful rock, basically grateful rock is that he picked it up. He was out walking around one day and he picked up this rock and he put it in his pocket. And he decided that every time that he touched that rock, he was going to state something that he was grateful for. Grateful for being alive, grateful for being able to walk and I had shoes, or I was able to drive to here, grateful. He would do it, he'd touch that rock in the morning, he put it in his pocket, and then when he got home at night, he would put it on his nightstand. And he had met someone that had seen his rock. He dropped the rock and the guy was like, "What is that for?" And the guy started calling it a gratitude rock. And it's something that we all need. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a rock. I do it with my wedding ring. Every time I touch it, I'm very grateful for the life that I have. I'm very grateful for my husband. I'm very grateful for my kids, my grandson, and I'm grateful for my family and my friends. And every time I touch it, I have that moment of, what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for right now? And it can be an object. And it's easier if it's an object, because then we know that when I touch this, or whenever I see this, or whenever I do this, that I need to be grateful for it. It will start to multiply. When you start being grateful for the things that you have, and you're grateful for where you're at, or what you've accomplished, or what you've gotten through, that gratitude starts to resonate, not just from you, but it also resonates to others around you. And it's kind of contagious. When everybody is starting to be grateful for the things that you have, like the month of Thanksgiving, in November, it's like you start talking about I'm going to say something I'm grateful for every single day. And then they hit 1 and 2 and 3, and then they forgot number 4, and they forgot number 5. And then they get to Thanksgiving, they're like, oh my gosh, I forgot the whole month. Having a object or something that you can touch, to remind yourself, because it doesn't have to be every second or every day. But every time that you touch it, every time that you think about it, every time that like I play with my ring all the time, and I stop and I'm like, there's a reason this ring is here. There's a reason why my husband is here. There's a reason why we live where we live. And there's a reason why I'm doing this video here. There's a reason for all of this. This is something that I wanted to do. This is something that I put it out there and it happened. Have I done that before? Yes. Was it successful? No. But I also wasn't in the right mind. I wasn't in my right mindset. So an attitude, gratitude is where you just have to think about it. Attitude of gratitude. you say? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, powerful processes. Visualization. When you start to decide what you're wanting, you've asked for it, you're looking for it, you need to have a visualization of that you are there. Like that's where you want to be. This is really greatly done with vision boards or a collage of different things. You can cut them out from a newspaper. You can download the images to a sheet and you can print it out. I have one. I have I change it up. This is my 2024. I had a 2023 last year. And it's things that every time I sit at my desk, I can look at it. I can look at the things that I want, what I'm doing, and what I want to achieve. I put on this year because I knew I was going to go to school. So I want to graduate. I want to get through those classes. And I have another picture of someone who's doing homework. And I know that that's what I'm going to do. And that's like, I'm looking at myself doing homework. YouTube is doing more videos for YouTube. And so here I am. The next is leading. That's my word of the year's lead of 2024. I've had a lot of different ones. And this year I want to lead. I want to show people more of what can be achievable, what can be accomplished. I also have on there recruiting. I want to partner with more people and I want to build my team and I want to lead by example. And I want to show people that it's easier than we tell ourselves it can be. It's easier to talk to more people when you choose to talk to more people. I also have on there, it's kind of funny. I have on there a steak because, you know, that's one of the things that I want to have is I want to have a steak dinner. I want to be able to sit down and not have to cook it, go have a steak dinner. And that's something that I put on my dream board. And some of y'all may think that's silly, but that's what I want. Another one is a picture of Orlando because that's where the Scentsy family reunion is going to be at. And that's where I'm going. Like I already know I'm going to Orlando in July. And then I have a plane on there and that's where I'm going. That's how I'm going to get to Orlando. It's a plane. So the vision boards is you have to decide what you want. You have to believe you can have it. You have to believe you deserve it. And you have to believe it's possible for you. The visualization of knowing the things that you want and knowing where you want to go and where you like how you want to achieve this. Knowing that is like knowing that's half the battle. I have to say that. Knowing that's half the battle. That's the biggest part of it is knowing where you want to go. When you have an inspired thought or you're watching a training and you have that inspired thought, you have to trust it. You have to act on it and follow it through. And it may or may not work. It may not work yet. It may be something that you're like, okay, I tried this and it didn't quite have the outcome I wanted. So I'm going to kind of put it over here for a little bit and try it again later. You have to declare what you want. You have to make it known of what you're wanting to do. So if it's like, say, I just want more money. I want more money. Say how much? How much? How often? Like what's money going to do for you? Money is never going to bring you happiness at all. That goes with the self-care. That goes with the self-talk. That goes with everything else. Happiness can be found in anything. But if your goal is like to get out of debt, don't talk about the debt because debt is, I mean, getting out of debt, you'll always be in debt. It is more or less is like, what do you want coming through? Set yourself up on auto pays to automatically process the bills so you don't have to worry about late fees. And then from there, you just go ahead and you start saying, I need this much money every month. This is how much money I want. This is how much money I need. This is how much money I'm getting. And you want to say it more in the present tense. I am getting this much money every single month. Growing up, I was always told that work hard, you pay your dues, and you can achieve things. Well, with this whole thing with the secret and the mindset is basically is that money comes easy. It's going to come frequently. And if you say that over and over, money comes easy. Money comes frequently. You know, I want to start receiving checks. I want to start receiving orders. I want to receive orders in, I just want to get the emails. I want tons of emails about orders that are coming in through my website. You know, I want to have a lot of messages from my customers, responses back, because they're wanting to order the buy or they want to partner with me. I want to put that out there because that is what I'm wanting. That's what I'm needing. I didn't take out all the pieces of paper. Maybe I didn't, but that's okay. But you just want to know that what you put out there is what comes back. And I need to look now because I really had some more notes. Oh no, I did. Maybe I need to look through this again. I should have numbered these so I knew which order they went in. So there's got to be more notes. I know I can find it. Where did I put them? Oh, there it is. Oh, yep. This was, I knew there was a whole other page. Sorry, guys. Okay. First things first is you want to go for your inner vision. So start thinking about yourself. Make yourself happy. No one can make you feel anything that you don't allow them to feel. So worry about you because you're not going to be able to change or control anyone else. And you need to start learning to love yourself every day for like the next 30 days. I want you to write down like the reasons why you love yourself. Or maybe it's the reasons why you love your partner or your family, or just 30 days of writing down basically your gratitude. What you love about your life, what you love about where you're at. And then quit being so anti everything. You know, be proactive. Don't be, I'm going to say this more as like when you think about the negative things, not wanting, like, I don't want to be in debt. Well, that's a negative thought. You want to have more money coming in. To get yourself out of debt, you need the money. If you keep worrying about debt, more debt will show up. And then one thing that I've said, actually quite a while, I come across a superstar director, and she had made a statement as if you can or you can't, you are correct. And I've really used that so often in life when people start saying, well, I can't do that. There's no way I'm going to be able to do that. I can't do that. I can't do it. And you're like, you're right. You are totally correct. If you tell me that you can't do it, there's nothing that's going to happen because you're not going to do it. You've already told yourself you can't. You've already seen it in your head that it's done. It's over. But the quote actually goes, whether you think you can or you can't, either way, you're right. And that was done from Henry Ford. And again, from the beginning of my business, I didn't know about failure. I didn't know what I was going to be bad at because I gave myself a pep talk and told myself I was going to do everything I needed to do. I was going to continue doing it until I was successful. I didn't say whenever someone said no, I was going to stop. So whenever I hit director, one of the 4 times I hit director, my team name was #NoLimitYall. Because we don't have limitations on what we can do. We don't have limitations on what we can achieve. And so the no limit, y'all, it boils down to you can accomplish anything you put your mind to. No one can dance your dance. No one can sing your song, and no one can write your story. That's all up to you. And you can do this. You can do anything. You starting to talk positive talk and starting to think positive is going to be a struggle, especially whenever you've lived and you dwelled in all the negative and all the horrible for so long. And you can start right now. You can start today. And you're going to have those thoughts that come through that say, I can't do this. And that's where you kind of like get in this kind of tennis game of you need to stop with the negative talk and start doing the positive talk of like, yes, I can. And it's going to bounce in and it's going to come in. And you're going to be like, no, I can do this. I can hit my goal this month. I can talk to this many customers. I can have this many Scentsy clubs. I can have money coming in. I can have orders coming in. I can do this. And anytime that negative thought says, but it's not going to happen, then you're like, nope, I can. I am. I will. It is. So I hope you got a little bit of something today. And again, the movie was called The Secret on Prime. And the other one that was an actual movie was Dare to Dream on Netflix. Check them out. See what you think about it, what you decide. It definitely has changed my mind and impacted my life a lot more than I expected to last night, because I remember seeing this before. And I know that there's not anything that we can't do, and we can do it together. And the next thing is that when you find the secret and you find how it works for your life, share it. Don't gatekeep it. Share to others, share to your team, share to your family, share to your friends, share to your customers. Share the insight that you've come across and talk about it. Or tell them to watch the video, however you want to do it. With that being said, I am Cassie Bollinger. I am the leader of #NoLimit, y'all. You are strong. You are worthy and you are important. I love each and every one of you. If you have any questions, please make sure you put them down in the comments below. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to my channel just so you can get more content just like this. I hope you guys have a blessed day, and I'll talk to you guys soon.